Hey there, friends. Welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, we are so happy you've joined us today. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and tap the little bell so you never miss out on any of our inspiring videos. We're all about encouragement, faith, and practical insights to help you grow and thrive. Today, we're diving into a topic that I know touches all of us at some point in life: waiting. Whether it's waiting for that big break, waiting for healing, or waiting for a change in our circumstances, we've all been there. And let's be honest, waiting can be tough. It can feel like you're stuck in limbo, wondering if anything is happening, if things are ever going to change. But here's the thing, even in the waiting, God is still working. So if you've ever found yourself feeling impatient, stuck, or like nothing is moving, this video is for you. I want to share with you some encouragement and truth about how God works behind the scenes, even when we can't see it, and how He's always working for our good, even in the waiting. Understanding God's timing. So let's start by acknowledging something we all know to be true. Waiting is hard. Whether you're waiting for a breakthrough in your career, waiting for healing in your body, or even waiting for answers in your relationships, waiting can be one of the most difficult challenges we face. It's in these moments of waiting that our patience is stretched, our faith is tested, and sometimes our hope feels like it's running on empty. I get it. We've all been there. Those moments when you feel like you're stuck in a holding pattern, like you're not moving forward at all. And honestly, when you're in that place, it can be easy to feel like nothing is happening, like God isn't listening. But I want to encourage you today by reminding you of one powerful truth: God's timing is perfect. You see, there's something incredibly important to understand. God's timing is not like our timing. It's so different. In fact, it's better. There's a beautiful verse in Isaiah 55, 8-9, where God reminds us of this. "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts." God sees everything. He sees your present, your past, and your future, all at the same time. While we see only one part of the puzzle, God has the full picture. And often, we can't understand why things aren't happening right now, or why the answer hasn't come yet. But the truth is, God's timing is so much better than our own. Think about it this way. If we got everything we wanted on our own timeline, we might miss out on what God has truly prepared for us. Sometimes, what we think is perfect timing might not be what we need at all. God's timing is purposeful. He's not in a rush, and He's never late. He's working behind the scenes, setting everything up, aligning things that we can't even begin to understand, so that when the time comes, everything will fall into place in ways that we couldn't have imagined. And while we're waiting, we may not feel it. We may not always see what God is doing in the background, but trust me, He's working. Behind the scenes, He's aligning the people, the circumstances, the opportunities that will bring about the breakthrough you're waiting for. It may not always be obvious, but God is working on your behalf, even when it feels like you're standing still. I know it's hard. Trusting in God's timing can be one of the hardest things to do, especially when it feels like things aren't moving fast enough. But remember this: waiting doesn't mean nothing is happening. God is working in ways we can't always see, but He's preparing you for something greater. Your breakthrough is coming, and God is making sure you're ready for it. God isn't just answering your prayers. He's preparing you. He's refining you, strengthening your faith, and working all things together for your good. His timing may not always align with our desires, but it will always align with His perfect will for your life. Why waiting is necessary. Think about this for a second. A seed. When you plant it, it doesn't sprout up right away, does it? In fact, for a while, you might not see any growth at all. But underneath the surface, the roots are working. They're establishing a foundation, growing deeper into the soil. And when the plant finally breaks through the surface, it's not just fragile, it's strong and ready to thrive. Waiting is a lot like that. You may not see any signs of progress. It may feel like nothing is changing, like nothing is moving forward. But trust me, behind the scenes, God is working. Just like the roots of that seed, God is developing things within you and around you. And when the time is right, when everything is ready, you will break through stronger than before. Maybe you've been praying for something. Maybe you've been waiting for a breakthrough in your health, your relationships, your career, or even your faith. And right now, it seems like nothing is happening. You might even be wondering, God, are you hearing me? Are you doing anything? The answer is yes. God is always at work, even in the waiting seasons. Remember, there's a time for everything. Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1 says, "There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens." Waiting isn't a delay in God's plan. It's part of the plan. God is using this time to prepare you for what's coming next, for the breakthrough He has in store, and for the person He's calling you to become. God doesn't waste any season, especially not the waiting. He's preparing you, growing your faith, refining your character, and strengthening your spirit. Trust that this time isn't wasted. It's part of the process, and when the moment comes, you will be ready. Trusting the process. I know that waiting can really test our patience, especially when we're so used to instant results. In today's world, we're constantly surrounded by convenience. Everything is just a click away. But with God, it's different. His timing isn't about instant gratification. It's intentional. It's perfect. Think about a marathon runner. They don't rush toward the finish line in the first few minutes of the race. They pace themselves. They trust the process, knowing that every step, no matter how small, is leading them closer to their goal. And that's how our lives are too. Every day, God is shaping us, building our faith, and preparing us for something greater. Sometimes in the midst of waiting, it's easy to feel discouraged or as though we're falling behind. But remember this, God isn't punishing you. He's positioning you. He's aligning everything, your growth, your relationships, your circumstances, so that when the time is right, everything will fall into place in ways that exceed your expectations. Think about a seed that's planted in the ground. It doesn't sprout overnight. The roots have to grow deep before it can shoot up into the light. Just like that seed, God is working beneath the surface in your life. He's nurturing you, preparing you, and building a foundation that will allow you to stand firm when it's time for you to rise. And while you wait, remember this. Trust the process. Trust that every moment, every season of waiting is shaping you for what's to come. Sometimes the waiting season is necessary for us to grow stronger, wiser, and more reliant on God. It's not about rushing the process. It's about trusting that God is in control and He knows what's best for us. God's process isn't always quick, but it's always purposeful. Trust in His timing. Even when things don't make sense, know that He's working everything out for your good. Every step you take in faith brings you closer to the breakthrough He's preparing for you. Trust the process, my friends. God is working in you, even when you can't see it. And the wait, it's not a waste. It's part of the journey. What to do while you wait. So, while you're in this season of waiting, the question is, what do we do while we wait? I'm sure at times it feels like you're in limbo, just sitting around waiting for things to change. But I want to encourage you today, waiting doesn't mean doing nothing. In fact, waiting is one of the most powerful seasons to grow closer to God. First and foremost, stay active in your faith. Don't just sit back and hope that things will change on their own. Yes, waiting requires patience, but it also requires action. Keep praying, keep trusting, and keep doing the work that God has placed before you. Whether it's small steps or big moves, don't stop moving forward. And most importantly, draw closer to God during this time. He's with you through every season. I always recommend journaling during a waiting season. It's an incredible way to track your journey and see God's hand at work in your life. Write down your thoughts, your fears, your desires, and also your prayers. And when you look back, you'll be able to see how He's been faithful through every single moment, even when it was hard to see in the moment. Another powerful thing you can do during your waiting season is serve others. It's easy to become consumed with our own desires, but when we shift our focus from our own waiting to helping others, we find that God works in incredible ways. When you serve, you open your heart, and God begins to move through you. Sometimes, by helping others, you find the very blessings you've been praying for. And lastly, trust in God's promises. There's a beautiful verse in Isaiah 40:31 that says, "But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint." It's a reminder that as you wait, God will give you strength. It may feel like you're running low on energy, like you're running out of patience, but God promises to renew you. He will equip you with the strength to endure, to keep going, and to rise higher than you could imagine. So don't worry. God is using this waiting time to build your endurance and your faith. Trust in His timing. Trust that He will give you the strength you need, and trust that He's preparing something amazing for you. So as you wait, be active. Keep growing your faith, keep serving others, and lean into God's promises. Remember, waiting doesn't mean doing nothing. It means you're positioning yourself to receive what God has prepared for you. And when it comes, it will be more than worth the wait. I want to take a moment to share a personal story that I hope will resonate with you. I've been through a season in my life where I had to wait for something that felt like it was taking forever. It was a time when I was waiting for a breakthrough in my career. I had put in so much work. I'd prayed and hoped for an opportunity, but nothing seemed to be happening. I kept asking myself, "God, why is this taking so long? Is something wrong with me?" It was hard not to doubt in those moments. I started to wonder if maybe I had missed something or if I wasn't doing enough. I'm sure some of you can relate. When you're in a season of waiting, it can be easy to feel overlooked or like your efforts are in vain. But as I sat down and reflected, I realized something important. I realized that the waiting period wasn't just a pause, it was a preparation. You see, God wasn't keeping me from something good. He was preparing me for something great. During that time, I had to grow in my faith, learn to trust Him more deeply, and develop a deeper understanding of His timing. And even though it was uncomfortable, I started to recognize that I wasn't alone. God was right there with me, working behind the scenes. I didn't understand it in the moment, but when the breakthrough finally came, when the opportunity I had been praying for was right in front of me, I realized just how much I had grown. I wasn't the same person who had been waiting in doubt and frustration. God had used that time to refine me, to prepare me for the next chapter, and when that breakthrough came, I was ready. I could handle it. I had learned patience, perseverance, and trust. It's amazing how when we look back, we can see how perfectly God's timing fits into the story of our lives. The waiting wasn't wasted. It was all part of the plan. And let me tell you, it was worth every single moment. Friends, I share this with you today because I know many of you are in your own waiting season. Maybe you're questioning God's timing, wondering why things aren't moving as fast as you'd like. I want to encourage you with this. You're exactly where God wants you to be. He is working behind the scenes, even if you can't see it yet. And when the time is right, He will open the door that's meant for you. Trust Him, keep praying, and know that the wait will be worth it. Friends, I want to leave you with a powerful reminder today. God's timing is always perfect, even when it feels like nothing is happening. You may not always understand why things are taking the time they are, or why your prayers seem unanswered in the moment. But know this, God is at work, even in the waiting. He is working behind the scenes, preparing you for something incredible. Maybe you've been waiting for a job opportunity, a breakthrough in your health, or healing in your relationships. It's easy to feel discouraged when the answer doesn't come right away. But what I want to remind you of today is that God's timing is never rushed, and it's never late. It's right on time. Even when things seem quiet or still, know that God is doing something in your life, something you might not even see yet. Just like a seed that's planted in the ground, it doesn't immediately shoot up to become a tree. It takes time, water, sunlight, and care to grow. And during that time, beneath the surface, something is happening. The roots are forming. The foundation is being set for something bigger. Your life is just the same. The waiting isn't wasted. It's a process of growth, refinement, and preparation. I know the waiting can be tough. It can feel like you're stuck in a season where nothing is moving. But I promise you, God is using this time to shape your heart, build your character, and prepare you for the breakthrough you've been praying for. Don't let the silence fool you. God is never silent. He's always working, even when you can't see it or feel it. Friends, I want to encourage you with this. Keep trusting, keep hoping, keep believing. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. God has a plan for you, a good plan, a perfect plan, and nothing can derail it. So don't give up, don't lose heart, and don't let your waiting make you weary. Instead, let it make you stronger. You're closer to your breakthrough than you realize. While you're waiting, God is working. And just when the time is right, He will reveal the perfect plan He has for you. So don't just wait passively. Continue living with purpose. Continue seeking Him. And continue trusting His timing. You're not alone in this. Thank you for joining me today. I truly hope this message has encouraged your heart. If you've been touched by this video, please take a moment to like, share, and comment below. What are you waiting for? How are you trusting God's timing in your life? I'd love to hear your thoughts and connect with you. Your story could inspire others who are also walking through a waiting season. Don't forget to subscribe for more inspiring content, and if you're looking for more encouragement, be sure to check out our other videos. I believe God is doing amazing things in your life, even in the waiting. Stay blessed, and we'll see you in the next one.